For the longest time, I've wanted to play D&D. I bought the starter set, the essential kit, all kinds of rule books, read them back to front, and then I got stuck. I had no one to play with. Although it is true that I did play some D&D like nearly 10 years ago now. I jumped on the High Roller stream very early on, and I can't even bring myself to go back and watch those. I didn't know the rules whatsoever, and I bet the roleplay was terrible. But this past year, I got the itch again, and that's when two very important things happened. The first was getting invited to this, the Misadventures SMP. Literally in Lizzie's first episode, she says this.
A new Minecraft SMP where we'll be building up our very own D&D inspired world.
All right, perfect. I suppose I've just got to learn the rules again. Or do I? Because that's when thing number 2 happened. Back in May, saw the release of this. This is Daggerheart. It is the brand new tabletop RPG from the team at Critical Role, who, if you aren't aware, run one of the biggest D&D shows, maybe even the biggest on the entire planet. And after watching some of the playtest footage, I was immediately sold because it leans way more into storytelling and applying the rule of cool, and there's a hell of a lot less math. So, I've learned the rules, but now I'm stuck again. I've got no players. Oh, but I do, because for the last 6 months, me and a bunch of other creators have been building an entire world. I mean, look at all this stuff. We've got locations and towns, taverns and citadels. This is it. This is the world. And that's when the lightning bolt struck. Why don't I create a dungeon in the game, make people play through a one-shot that I've written set in the world of Misadventures, and at the end, reveal they can go and play that exact same dungeon right now. And then I had to decide, where are we going to build this dungeon? And that was a surprisingly easy point to nail down, because at the very beginning of the SMP, we only had 2 towns. We had Orchidia, which is where I am right now on the map over here, and we had Merriport. And something interesting about Orchidia is that you've got the waters over here and you've got the swampy town, and I was so convinced that there must be something out in these waters to be found. What really layered into this conspiracy theory is the simple fact that Paloma over here sells swamp juice, and if you consume said swamp juice, you get a little bit of nausea, a little bit of slowness, but you also get water breathing. Surely that's applied nearby. So I delved down into the depths of the water, getting attacked by pufferfish along the way apparently, and that's when I eventually found it, the underbelly of the world painting that had been done for this server. And unfortunately for me, there was nothing down here. Oh God, which way did I come in? Because I am going to run out of oxygen. All right, so we've got the location. Now to make some decisions about the dungeon. Now, I am not a ginormous builder like the rest of the people on this server. I'm still finding my feet. So how about instead of a full dungeon like the crypt or the sewers, let's just make a single room. And inside of that room, there will just be waves of mobs that continually spawn, and eventually they will perish to them. This is all subject to change because dying in Misadventures is a little bit tricksy. Although I had mentioned the sewers, and I do like the idea of borrowing its block palette. Because of how muddy and overgrown things are in Orchidia, it would be really cool to imagine a abandoned sewage system beneath the town. They could even begin their story in a tavern, because that's where all great stories begin. They come here for a nightcap, and as they come out, boom, it's Watch a Riven in the fountain. No, it'll be 3 water elementals that appear and start causing trouble. You know what? Not a terrible idea to actually use Watch a Riven in this. Is there another one as well? I'm sure he's called Felix, right? Yeah. That's the thing, we have our characters, Esperanza, Paloma, you got Rosalia in the candle shop. But after vanquishing the water elementals, they could flee back down a recently installed iron trap door back into the sewer system below. The bells will ring in panic, and I still don't have a full story there, but it's a beginning. And you know what you need to do to create stories? Writing, and that is when Cam's Writing Wednesdays popped up at the Cambridge University. Very important to pronounce it that way. And he even made me a little locker. Let me show you it. So each person that comes to the university for the writing club each week gets to put their stuff down here in the basement. And here is mine right here. It's got an issue of the Misinformer at the back, my head from being slain, and inside of here is where I put all of my possessions. I won't do it right now though. What Cam's done is he's created a library, and we have been slowly, what was that? That was like 7 doors at once. Anyway, he's created a library, and we have been slowly but surely populating it with books. Some of them are very silly, or in my case, I'm using them to sow little seeds of lore before we even jump into the one shot. Now I've just got to find the book. His Own Tomb, Man's Best Fiend, The Post Rat, Myths and More, Volume 1. This is it. So this is something that I wrote. So, throughout the decades, there have been many who have speculated about the conditions that created the lands referred to as the Frozen Wastes. found to the far northwest of Merriport, which is a real place, by the way, if you look all the way up here. So this is northwest from Merriport. This is an area of the Misadventures world that we physically cannot tread in. We go in there, the freezing kicks in real fast, and we die. So this will be unlocked to us one day. I don't think it's a spoiler because she spoke about it on stream. Pearl is actually creating a dungeon, which when completed, I think will then grant us access to this portion of the world. Its unnaturally bitter temperatures go beyond anything the land's greatest minds can comprehend for a cold climate, with no apparent culprit. Townsfolk often tell their young tales of a devious lord called Morath, who is actually referenced in the Infernal Descent dungeon, you know, the fiery one. So it's fun tying in the lore that Lizzie has created into some stuff here. This doesn't necessarily make this book canon, it just works for my purposes. Morath that cursed the forest many moons ago when he fell to the hands of a brave misfit band of misadventurers whose names are lost to time, conveniently. Fathers will often jest that they'll leave children there who misbehave and have the frost wraiths come and take them away to become frozen statues at the iceberg citadel leagues beyond the first tree line. Again, Pearl doesn't have to call a dungeon this, it just sounded cool at the time. And these frost wraiths, I guess, are the first idea that elements can actually be animated. So the water elementals that I have in my story are a little bit derived from this. You will often hear supposed eyewitness accounts of frost wraith sightings from drunken fishermen in taverns the land over when they've had a few too many swamp juices. Mentions of the snows changing form into recognizable figures and even animals from the nearby climates. Some even report seeing thawed versions closer to the major cities. You see where I'm going with this? But many attribute these to being sewer slimes that have crept up from the pipes below. To this day, children are still heard singing this song in the playground to spook one another. Chilly, chilly bones of frost, tread too close and you'll get lost. Try to run but never can. Beware, beware of the snowman. So we have a little sprinkle of lore and a few characters, but I think we need more. So they're going to meet water elementals, they're going to defeat them, but they're going to rise again and flee to the sewers. We need a way of putting them down for good. And there's only one man that I know on this server who is capable of mixing magic and technology together, and that is Victor Blackthorn. You might not remember who Victor Blackthorn is, but in my most recent episode of Misadventures, I was over here at the Lush Copper Mines, and upstairs is where Victor resides. And if you remember, he was making me bring him a slew of materials so that he could actually upgrade all of the copper golems to a new, better form. And in doing so, absolutely tarnished any kind of reputation that I had with these little clanky fellas. But I was thinking it'd be really cool if Victor was the person that they go to for help, and he says that he needs one more component in order to create something that can deal with the water elementals, and that is a very special kind of moss, found only at the brand new location called Tadpoles Rest. It's a brand new location that Sausage has created just over here on the opposite side of the fungal forest. Now, what's a tabletop RPG without a little bit of combat? So I decided when the players have to make their way through the fungal forest to reach Tadpoles Rest, there are two possible battles they can encounter. The first is here in the Creaking Woods, where the Creakings will basically present themselves and cause a bit of a blockade. The other is if they choose to follow the Road Builders Guild's official roads, and eventually one of Maeve's apprentices will come out and try to thwart their plans. Who's that? It's always Bruce! There's either 7 of you and they're just scattered across the world everywhere, maybe 12 given your name, or you just get about, my dude. I last saw you with Pearl over at Molly's sheep farm. Once our adventurers have managed to best either of those challenges, then they will find themselves at the bridge here and arriving at their beautiful Tadpoles Rest. It is stunning. This is created by Sausage, and he was so down for letting me use it as a point of interest for my story. Even the tagline of Ribbit, Rest, Repeat for this place is just perfection. And what's really nice is Daggerheart actually has a race available called Ribbits. So I was like, okay, everyone here is going to be a frog person, and this is like some kind of dojo and like a training site. And it was as I was wandering around here looking for some inspiration and some story beats to insert, where I came up this staircase and found this, just a very mossy, overgrown and magical looking pond. So if they want to get this moss, it's not just going to be handed to them. The dojo leader is going to test them, train them. So after many drinks and a good night's rest, our players will be brought out here by the dojo sensei to come and take part in a challenge. Now this challenge has got a couple of different facets to it. There's going to be a strength check, an agility check, and then finally an instinct check. This I can't claim any ownership of. This is all being created by Sausage. I gave him some very light bullet points on what I imagine this looks like, but it's really fun. This is going to be quite a stressful event, so I'm going to say that if the players manage to succeed within the time limit, then they will basically go ahead and clear some stresses from their character. Failing that, they will get what they want, but they'll have to keep the stress. Now they've acquired the moss, they'll take it back to Victor, they'll wander all the way back to Orchidia, and then it's time to try and find the sewers. Now our players won't need to go into the awkward underbelly of the world here. Instead, they can actually come to the east coast of Orchidia, where my little Suri spot is, my little hot rod location, and just down in the waters, there is an opening in the mud. This doesn't mean they have it easy though, because they still have this massively overgrown, coral-infested, copper-ridden tunnel of mud that they have to traverse through in order to find the dungeon entrance. And fun fact actually, originally I was concepting it that each of these copper blocks was representative of a gate or a valve that would open and close at random. So each in-game day, each IRL day, whichever it may be, the pathway would become completely different. We may still do a little something like that for the tabletop version, but for this, we're just going to keep it open all the time for simplicity's sake. And then you reach the first tunnel, if you will, the first sewer pipe that goes straight into the dungeon. So the players will walk into this keyhole looking space, and that's where we can jump behind the scenes. Let's go. So if you weren't aware, every dungeon on the Misadventures server has to exist in the real world. The reason I say the real world is because this space has been hollowed out by the admin so that I can build this dungeon underground and don't have to do all of the caverning work beforehand. But once this is completed, the admins will grab a copy of it and they'll actually throw it into a flat world and do all of the special trickery with redstone and command blocks and everything like that to make it a playable instance, and also allowing multiple to be launched at the same time. So when the players get spawned in, there'll be another wall of black here, they'll be stood on this copper, and then that's when they will get their first glance at my dungeon, my battle room, whatever you'd like to call it. But here it is, and I really, really like it. It's got the mixtures of like vines and mangrove roots and copper. You got some chains and lanterns. You can see stuff closer to the water is oxidizing, and stuff slightly higher up is a little less weathered. But I think it's really fun. So the idea is that this is an abandoned project that they tried to have underneath Orchidia, and it just wasn't viable, or there wasn't enough demand for it. I like thinking that this pipe here would probably take you all the way to Merriport if you went through it. Maybe this one over here, this one with like the teeth, if you will, with the dripstone, that maybe goes to say the Emperor's Rest, and then this one goes to the Riverwood Hamlet. It was due to be a real central hub for all things sewage. And upon completion, this water will begin to flow. It's out at the moment just so I could see what it would look like. But when they finish, they would swim all the way up here and boop, they would teleport and they'd find themselves back in the well of Orchidia. I apologize that I don't have any kind of cool montage for you, like, you know, using Lightmatica to do layer upon layer upon layer. I did use that mod, but I hadn't collected all the materials before starting, so it was a lot of back and forth. So now this dungeon is built, it is time to roll some dice. But the big question is, do I have any players? Yeah, I do. Like 10 people signed up to play this, which was amazing, given that it's a tabletop RPG they've never touched before, and it's also brand new to me as a GM. I didn't think many people would want to, but I got 10 people, maybe even 11, sign up to do this. So I decided to construct 2 parties of 4 players. So here's a little montage of some silly moments that have happened so far to entice you in to go and watch the VODs, and when they're all back from TwitchCon, we're going to be getting straight back to it, and they will finally arrive here in my little chamber of secrets.
I would like to activate my tongue of trickery.
PvP, have it, let's do it.
I am going to attack Horace with a slap.
What? What? No.
Grandma, give her a candy. Give it a candy. Do it.
It's a tree, dearie.
Sausage! I think I need your help.
You mean Lazarus?
Sorry, Lazarus!
What? Hold on,
Who's
let me
sausage?
finish this straight. Give me a second.
You only
Come
met
here.
the man tonight. Stop talking about his sausage. My God.
What's going on?
What can I say?
No, it's okay.
I'm Daicha.
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 Nice to meet you.
That's how he laughs. It's just really.
Oh,
That's
that is
amazing.
quite a boisterous guffaw that you exhale.
I don't even know what that word means.
Neither do I, Danger.
Mostly, I don't want to throw my back out, so.
Okay, don't worry. Yeah, you want to blow my back out then, I guess. Let's go. What do I got to do?
Phrasing.
What do you need? What do you need? What's going on?
I need your help. Let's get this. There's a cow in this well.
Looks pretty good, right? What do you reckon? Think you want to watch it? Huh? But I do have a question for all of you. Your favorite POV that you've been watching, whether it's streaming or in videos, have you noticed that there is any particular blocks or items that they've been wanting desperately, but we don't have access to currently? Because for context, when we go to the resource world on this server, this is a vanilla world that resets every single day. So it's great for getting infinite, sources of materials, but we don't have access to structures. There are no ocean monuments, you can't get to the end, nothing like that. So there are certain things that are out of our reach. And the reason I ask is I'm looking to populate the loot pool of this dungeon. I personally would love to have, say, sponges. I think that would be great. And cobwebs is a big one that everyone's been asking for. But is there anything else I'm missing? Let me know in the comment section below if you've got any information like that. And enjoy this sunrise over a brand new day in the Everchange, which is, by the way, the canonical name for the resource world. Lizzie wrote it in a book that currently resides in the top of the tower. You know, Lawnhaven, the town that Drifter's building, and the parkour tower that's there. It's in one of the bookshelves there. Really cool. So as I promised, at the end of this video, I thought I would give you a little bedtime story for listening so nicely, and you can relax and go to sleep. This is called Tiny Guardians. In the cover of night, when the moon shone bright, a player was roaming the halls. For deep underground and away from the sound were the stronghold's mischievous walls. At first you may wonder, but when you go under the gateway of iron and stone, a pop, then some dust, perception's a must, as you'll find you're no longer alone. 'Cause this little critter, that's brimming with pride, will soon make you realise there's nowhere to hide. They'll nibble and gnaw, they'll munch and they'll chew, they'll chase and they'll squeak, they'll leap at you too. This is the silverfish, the watcher of gates, that wards off all humans from sealing their fates. Some deem them a nuisance and others a foe, persistent, aggressive, and won't heed your no. The truth of these beings is far more complex. They're not just cruel monsters like creepers or vex. Their reasons aren't thoughtless when on the attack, but instead signal warning of, there's no way back. For through the dark portal, an infinite land, a cascade of yellow resembling sand. You'll soon come to realise this silvery friend was just trying to prevent you from meeting your end. Thank you very much for watching this video. Good night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.